G'day, today we are continuing on with the string challenge. As you can see, we've got a few more cities down here in the southeast. What I've done is I let the game run for about 12 hours to see what we could get for Papua New Guinea, Australia, New Zealand, Antarctica. Alright, so we'll have a look at Australia in a minute, but what we'll do first is we'll just try and bring in the Solomon Islands, because that'll be our country of today. But obviously I could bring them all in one hit, but I would say I'll bring them in one at a time, because it'll probably take me that long to get all these cities connected. Now, when it comes to Antarctica, we've got nothing on this side of Antarctica at this point. What we do have is we've got 4 cities over here, and then this one down the bottom that sort of is almost permanently hidden. So what we'll do is we'll just leave these guys all connected to this this string at the end of South America, very slowly. Very slowly. We'll just max out these as well. So I managed to get, I think, about $30 million and just letting it run as well. Still amazes me that anyone's getting anywhere where they're willing to pay for their journey. I must have very good lawyers. Those lawyers that regularly prove that lightning was the cause of all our problems must be great at proving that you technically, like, they've written some crazy terms and conditions on these plane tickets. Now, it does sort of say if I did want to get all the way across Antarctica to Australia, the French Southern and Antarctic island seem like they would be... what did I click on? Oh, the actual thing. I am over this banner, and I tell you, the way the banner moves up and down makes me feel like it's also dragging the game down. Like, I have to zoom in about that far so that I can actually see this city over the top of the banner. So, based on where that guy is, I wonder if that's South Pole. Like, if that's right on the South Pole or close to it. I think, I don't know who Edmondson is, but I'm pretty sure Scott got to the South Pole. We might get there. Are you sure you want to sell it? That's not what I'm saying, is it? Upgrade. Are you sure you want to sell the last plane on this route? Do I have to, like, is it so far south that it thinks that I'm pressing on the southern option? So it's sort of... There we go. Alright. Sort of doing a sweep across Antarctica to make sure nothing else is there. Doesn't look like it. Alright. So, if we have a quick look at New Zealand, it does look like we've hit all the pretty... most of the major cities. I feel like the notable exception there is Queenstown's not here, and instead Eanu is, which I think is tiny in comparison, but the ones that I've got interesting points on here is the third largest. So the largest city in Australia is Sydney with about 4.8 million. Second largest is Melbourne with 4.7 million. The third largest is Brisbane, which isn't there. That's sitting just south of the Gold Coast. So forgivable that it doesn't exist because it and Gold Coast would probably be touching. Gold Coast is the 6th largest in Australia with 700,000. Brisbane's 2.4 million, so a little bit bigger. But the 4th largest city in Australia is Perth. Now, sometimes we can see a city doesn't show up because there's something touching it real close, but Perth is right there. And I feel like we are really ignoring the 2.1 million people that live in Perth, let alone all the surrounding areas over that way. On the other hand, you've got, say, Port Hedland and Broome. How big are they? I think Broome's got about 10,000. We're not the big ones up here. There's plenty of guys around that are, say, Broken Hill down here is 17,000. Port Lincoln down here, 16,000. Swan Hill, which we've got down here, is the 100th biggest city in Australia at 11,000. So yeah, pretty rough stuff. Especially since Perth was my plan on what I was going to connect to Antarctica, but mainly just because it was out of the way from everything else. But oh well, I guess we've got a bit more of a clear sweep that we can do through Australia to get down to this point. And if it isn't connecting to Antarctica, it possibly looks like what we would do is come around this way and then sort of just go from Hobart to southern New Zealand and then sort of finish up in the North Island. All right, so beyond that, we have gained actually, I think in the game there was actually one more city up here. Yeah, we gained a North Korean city. Why are you red? You red guys up here too, but that just did dull a little bit, so that says that he's inefficient. Assuming that's the same case for Vladivostok, that it's just not getting rid of people fast enough. So we'll get rid of that one. We'll swing that guy in. Swing that one in. Get those connected. Oh, didn't upgrade him either. And while we're doing that, I guess we can learn about the Solomon Islands. So Solomon Islands is an island country consisting of 6 major islands, over 900 smaller islands in Oceania. It's east of Papua New Guinea, northwest of Vanuatu, has a land area of 28,000 square kilometers and a population of approximately 700,000. Its capital is located on its largest island, Guadalcanal. Like I said last time, Guadalcanal, probably more famous for its World War II battle, which I've been to Fiji before. I've never been to the Solomon Islands, but I'm curious about it. And if there is, say, like sort of just family style resorts that you can stay at in Honiara, because I would say that if you can, then it would be similar to going to Fiji, but then also you get the added bonus of being able to see some World War II stuff, which would no doubt be around. Vanuatu, which is also down there, is also on my list. That's a little bit more. I don't think you would do Vanuatu as like a resort sort of stay. That's naturey, rainforest, volcanoes, stuff. And there's a tribe in Vanuatu that worships. Who is it they worship? Prince? English prince? Is it's very strange, and it's amazing that it's still going. I think it's something to do with with World War II. I could be completely wrong with this, but I think it's something to do with World War II. They had planes drop leaflets or something, and so it's from that they have sort of like have their religion formed. Let's get rid of that. Let's bounce this up. I think that's the way to go. I mean, they could have connected these guys across here, but I guess we'll keep Cambodia all together. Very slowly. In my last video, someone pointed out that I hadn't connected all of the cities that I had and accused me of being lazy for it, which I didn't really know how to respond to that. I'm like, did you watch the video? Have you seen the 30 hours I've spent connecting this, or the hours I spent trying to get any of these cities to like connect to each other? What are we watching? All right. Okay, so we also need to upgrade those 2 cities. Thank you, millionaire. Billionaire. Alright, then I reckon we'll just go sort of triangulate down to this guy. I realize that Corp is still in, well, I guess, beta testing, because it's still not in a 1.0 release, it's still in an 0 point something release, which means that it can get away with all of this sort of not working because they haven't released the game. So hopefully they are still, I mean, that says to me that they are still working on improvements in this game before what they would deem it being sort of release worthy, and I don't mind that. I mean, obviously it means that they've going to have gained a lot of criticism, even from me, for things that don't work, but it does mean that the game is obviously being worked on to try and address this. There are other games that I've played where I want the game to be released. There's at least one game where I want it to be released. I'm happy to pay for it because the demo is essentially seems to be the beta because it's so long that I'm like, let me pay you for it. I want all these hours that I'm putting into the game to actually be credited to playing the game, not playing the demo. So last time as well, I mean, this is all taking such a long time to get any of these done. I didn't have a read of Antarctica. I spent the entirety of the time just complaining about Australia. Or offering my opinions on. So let's read about Antarctica while this very slowly connects. Antarctica, and it may not surprise you to hear that it's not the kingdom of Antarctica or anything, it is just Antarctica, is the Earth's southernmost and least populated continent, situated almost entirely south of the Antarctic Circle and surrounded by the Southern Ocean, also known as the Antarctic Ocean. That's the ocean, not Antarctica. It contains the geographic South Pole. It's fifth largest continent, being about 40% larger than Europe, and has an area of 14 million square kilometers. I didn't see the plane on that route. There it is. Most of Antarctica is covered by Antarctic sheet ice with an average thickness of about 2 kilometers. It's pretty thick, which I guess if you ever needed an understanding of why it would be a problem if that amount of ice melted, I guess that's a pretty easy way to get an understanding. It seems like a lot of ice if you've got 14,000 square kilometers of 14,000 square kilometers times 2 kilometers worth of ice not in the water and instead sitting on land. I can imagine if that found its way to the water, it would... I mean, if that found its way to the water and the entirety of the world was 14 square kilometers, then it means the water level would raise 2 kilometers. So if... What is the area of the Earth? Because I suppose you could do a pretty quick math on how much it would raise the water level all the way around the world. But I mean, even if you broke that down to a point where it's only 1 meter, it's still a pretty significant raise for coastal stuff. Its population density is less than 0.01 per square kilometer. Its population is seasonally between 1,000 and 5,000 people. I feel like if you got the chance to go work in some capacity in Antarctica for one season, it would be it'd be cool. There are definitely people. I think there are some people that stay at the base thing that they've got at the South Pole through the winter, so they're sort of basically just managing it while no one else is there, and that feels like that's just the setting of a horror movie rather than being an enjoyable time, because surely you wouldn't be able to go outside because it would be the coldest point as well. So yeah, not a lot to look forward to in that, except I guess the money and the if you like reading books or watching movies and really having your own alone time. So really what I've got to do with all of these cities through Malaysia and above is basically we've got to, I guess, sort of connect them, snake them all the way down, because we're only coming one way. We're not trying to loop back up here at all. Does mean, I don't know if we want to, say, jump out to these guys over here, but it feels like we're going to have to. Go ahead. Remind me what I've got going on over here. So, right. So what we've got is we've got this going all the way down to the very bottom here. And then what's going to happen is we're going to swing back up. So that looks like to me that I haven't, upgraded these towns. If you want to experience unresponsive Fly Corp, I can recommend checking out playing it through Steam Link on your phone. So the way that I sort of allowed it to run for 12 hours is basically what I did is I just had my computer on work to work and had my phone on my desk with just plugged into power with the game just running with basically just a blue like just sort of zoomed into a blank part of water, just so that like there wasn't anything happening on screen. And did I add a second plane there? Doesn't matter, you can treat yourself to a second plane. And then just let that run. But at any point I was like, if I was like, oh, I wonder what's happening anywhere else in the world, the idea of trying to move the camera to see anything or just responsiveness was wild. But it did the job. It allowed me to open up those other cities. There's definitely only so much more that this game can stand. The good news is that I would expect the Solomon Islands could have a couple of cities because the islands are spread out. I would think that Fiji's only going to get 2. New Caledonia's at best going to get 2. So I would say that of all the cities that we're going to get, 99.5 or more of those % is already on the map. So it's terrible, like game movement is currently terrible, but at least we can sort of assume it's not going to get any worse. It is funny for me to now go back and play this game in just any other sort of like mode and be blown away by how responsive the game is, because this has been my normal for, for so long. That guy seems like he must be like either broken or he's already upgraded this city here. Is it Bandung? Oh, maybe it's because he's got guys on in there. Is this connected back at the moment? Maybe it's not connected back. Yeah, and so it's just having people sit in that can't go anywhere because they're not part of Indonesia or the Philippines. Want to travel beyond those borders. Alright, so we're back up into the up here, working out how we patch all of these guys together. The idea of having to draw these little lines is gonna be rough. So I think that's the obvious connection here. This guy then connects across to Tanjung Pinang, which I would assume is an Indonesian island. I've never been to Indonesia, but I was looking at if you go to Singapore and then just go to the islands here, well, at least some of the islands that you can visit there are Indonesian islands, so you can sort of, and obviously there's a lot more to Indonesia. It's a pretty hardy country, but I was gonna say I don't think I can upgrade that plane, but I also don't think that plane's gonna matter. He's not really gonna ever be the weak point of the chain here. Goes max level. Singapore is not. Okay, so I can zoom a little bit back out because now I've got those guys. So I feel like what we'll do is drop this guy down here. This guy upgraded. So this has all got to be a single line. So I think we go AL across to Medan. I can tell you as well, with these paces, I am looking forward to seeing the back of this series. But it will be fun to have a map with all the cities on it unlocked. And then I can just play with that. I mean, I feel like that could potentially be a thing of replay too, because there's no reason that the game shouldn't give you at least a button or an option to say, unlock another city, unlock another city. Like, clearly there's no, like, there's very minor punishment for having, like, cities not properly connected. So, just let us have all the cities in the world. Alright, that one. Slowly, slowly. I wonder if the difference in like the speed of like calculating it's going to do is going to increase here, because this is connecting all of this lower stuff like Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, all with the rest of the map. So they've just suddenly been able to calculate, all right, all of these people are now allowed to move. Imagine that an airplane must be doing that every single time it stops anywhere. It must calculate, alright, what ones am I allowed to take? What passengers will go this way? Put all those guys, right? Alright, so here we go. Indonesia. The map. Thought I missed someone up here. And this guy. Oh, I guess not all of Indonesia. We've got 2 more to go. So what we can do here, I would say, is look down through the north of Australia and then bounce up the northern Queensland to Papua New Guinea. Sort of got our route down. This is where we're going to see some pretty long flights. A lot of smaller planes in this section too. I'm amazed that guy's red. How is it? Did we? Amazed that there's 600 people in this section here able to head north. I suppose it's because everyone's just been sitting there waiting for that connection to happen at the top. We finally got it. It's amazing that guy's red. And he's coming this way, which means there's enough people, I guess, wanting to go to East Timor or somewhere. All right, so what we'll do is we'll connect Australia in with one airport. We'll get Darwin connected, and then next time we can look at working our way through Australia and the islands. we unlock the next. So like I said, we've got what, I guess maximum three to go because of all we've got left for countries. Since we've just brought in Solomon Islands, who have picked up a few. Then we've only got these 3 guys. So I might add in Fiji next just because it's the biggest. And we'll work to the smallest, Vanuatu being the last one in. But for this time, it is Solomon Islands that we've brought in. Any questions or comments, feel free to check them below. And until next time, catch you later. See ya.